a lot sooner. Unfortunately, I don't get that opportunity to actually see a Suyo in the EXP lane all that much, so I'm not particularly sure about the priority of a Suyo against a Phoveus.
I feel like Phoveus should have a better time. Like, he's just very, very good at dueling. So you do still have to respect the percentage HP damage that Suyo has. As long as you do so, though, you are perfectly okay. Mid lane, freeze onto Cine. Vivian in some trouble.
I don't think that Sin is gonna go down that early, but luckily for the side of Indonesia, they are all gonna be safe and sound for now. Now, the fun thing about the bottom lane is it does seem as though Fumi Echo is controlling the lane, freezing the lanes a little bit, while Diagon took the opportunity to kind of shaft the wave a little bit. So this is where we gotta have to find out a little bit about how this matchup is gonna look like. As Fumi Echo is probably gonna start things out onto Diagon, but the HP of Fumi Echo is not looking good. But Vival joins in the fray, doesn't have Diagon to immediately go for the auto attack out of the Finch Poise. As such, Diagon takes the first kill down over to the side of Fumi Echo. The Tempest of Blaze available for the side of Vival, almost bringing down Diagon, survives with just a sliver. The S1 gets Diagon away!
That was a masterclass by Diagon. There's no better way of describing it. Using that ultimate to get that extra HP regen. If not for that, Diagon would have actually fallen to Vival and it would have been EXP for EXP trade. But because of that, Fumi Echo actually missed out on an EXP minion. That's immediately gonna put her behind just in terms of levels. And I did notice Diagon with the vengeance, Fumi Echo with the flicker, a little bit of a reversal with the battle spells you usually see. He said Diagon actually a little bit better in the direct fights.
Fumi Echo with the flicker, okay. I'm not too sure how that's gonna look like, but ladies and gentlemen, I think it is pretty fair to say that Suyo is dominating the lane against the Phoveus. Look at that. There's just not much of a challenge, even if the Infernal Pursuit is available for this Phoveus. But as we speak, Philippines, they've pulled the turtle right out for a little bit. Indonesia, they're not really quite interested in taking up this fight as of now. The immortal form coming from Diagon just ensures that amount of damage taken reduction is so high that Diagon is just not receiving any of these poke damages.
Yeah, very good spacing from both sides. I feel like Philippines are in a better position to try and go ahead and contest this turtle, especially considering Diagon's a lead on Fumi Echo right now, but they don't really know where Vival is on the rotation in the jungle yet, so it's a bit risky to try and blitz it without that information.
Yes, now Vivian opens up the glorious pathway, hoping they will be able to find something at the end of it, but wasn't able to do quite much as Philippines continue onwards. When it comes down to Frigid Glacier, he did manage to land on the Vivian, while Vival gets herself away with the Tempest of Blaze as they continue and engage. Vivero is going to go down, as now it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Fumi Echo quickly flickers away from Diagon at the brink of death, and Diagon again! Not the S1 again! Not the S1 away from the Ling again, man.
Seems like Diagon might actually be pretty comfortable on the CO EXP lane. I'm seeing very impressive micro mechanics from her so far, and both kills on the Filipino side belonging to this Suyo. Not a good sign for Fumi Echo. As EXP laners, we know how bad it feels to be behind in lane at this stage.
Oh man. So what can we exactly expect out of this? Philippines, they have got a pretty strong EXP lane at this point in time. Ling has constantly been trying to head down to the bottom lane to get a couple of free kills, but just couldn't find any dividends from all of that. And this is just not looking too great from inside of Indonesia. I mean, to be fair, they're not exactly an early game composition, I get that. But it's more about the fact that going into the late stages of the game, how is that going to look like? Because I just want to see how this Ixia will fare in a 5v5 battle against Indonesia, because I'm pretty sure that Vival will be the pain in the ass for Perez once the outfit is just called out.
One thing I will say is that Shell is not going to have a good time this game. The moment you see that Zaman Force comes down, the AOG or the full barrage is just going to be laid down covering it. But they're going to try and defend this top tower.
We haven't seen the full barrage from the side of Perez just yet, though. But we have a 3-man pop up in the top lane of Philippines with a quick little flicker from the side of Perez. This is just going to be a Ixia that's going to be safe and sound for now. Forced to revitalize over to the side of Vivian.
looks like in the bot lane, Vival not really able to duel Diagon very comfortably either. Tempest Ablaze comes out, the Vengeance gonna be used.
Vengeance as well as kind of getting away from the center with the Evil Queller. Absolutely fast pacing from the side of Studio, but in the meantime, Kigler flicker from the side of Fumi Echo just to get herself away from the main parts of the team fight. And now, of course, with the full barrage, it didn't really quite do any number on the side of Indonesia. So that is one big ultimate that has been expended from the side of Philippines. This means that Indonesia should be able to take this turtle with no problems whatsoever.
That was actually very well played by Indonesia there. They positioned themselves and used cooldowns that made it appear as if they were going to start and force a fight, which caused Perez to pop out the full barrage. But the moment they saw that, they just backed it off and left Philippines without enough resources to continue battling for the objective. And so they were able to take it without too much contention. We can definitely see the maturity coming in from these teams.
Indonesia really wants a piece of Perez, but it doesn't seem like things are gonna work so well as the AOG plus the Frigid Glacier lands onto Vivian and crediting the kill over to the side of Perez, while the Zaman Force is just gonna be popped. Chell wasn't able to find any opportunity to do anything against Perez as she opens up the full barrage, deals a decent amount of damage over to the side of Chell, while it is going to be the Quad Shadow plus the Ogre Shadow kill from the side of El Puerto to just immediately chain it up over to the next person. Unfortunately, Perez is going to be the first person to be taken down from the side of Philippines, followed by Vivero. And now Indonesia, they are happy with the fact that it is a 1-4-2 trade.
Yeah, Indonesia is very happy about that one. In fact, with just a little bit more HP, Vival could have probably gotten 1 or 2 more kills there as well. That was really perfectly timed. Although El Puerto got a great angle flank with the Ogi Shadow kill, Shell managed to jump away from it, allowing Cinny to tank most of it. And then Cinny herself was able to flicker out with the perfect timing to disjoint the ultimate ability from the Hayabusa as well, with Vival timing her arrival to do as much AoE damage as possible with that Tempest of Blades. The Philippines should have been in full control of that gank, but Indonesia actually turned it around on them and ended up trading positively. So with all that spoken, there really isn't much of a gold difference 8 minutes in.
We gotta have to take note that the bottom lane T1 has already been taken down from the side of Diagon. So all the way up to the top lane is gonna be where Diagon is at this moment as we speak. With the turtle, with the Lord that is currently available in the bottom lane, Ixia can join into the battle pretty effectively, but I don't think that she will be able to do too much. Maybe pokes a little bit here and there with the full barrage, but it is all just a matter of time if where the Philippines is ready to take up this fight. As now, jungle versus jungle. We'll take a look at that. Level 11 on the side of El Puerto, while for the side of Vival is at level 12. So Indonesia, they do have a tad bit of a lead if they want to take on the Lord, but it's not as easy as that.
Yeah, I think Vival definitely got a big EXP injection with the 3 assists that she was able to get up in the top lane. And Indonesia right now is in a pretty good spot in terms of fighting capability. But I think the Philippines also recognize that they're very independent and can go for split pushes instead. So we can see Indonesia being dragged across the map to try and housekeep against the minion waves.
And now the glorious pathway is just gonna be making its way right in the face of Vivian, while the Eternal God sends Vivian up to the sky, and the full barrage unleashes onto Vivian, and it is definitely gonna be a dead Vivian right now. The rest of the members for the side of Philippines, they are going to be coming in to scramble and pick up the pieces, as Shell is gonna be the next one down, while Diagon picks up the double kill down on the Fumi Echo.
Impressive gameplay there from the Philippines. And this is what we're talking about, right? Using the macro presence that they have to split up Indonesia. And then when Indonesia try to go for the fight, when they think that not all of the PH team are around, Diagon is able to rotate right over. Vival not even able to approach the Lord Pit here, as this EXP lane Suyo is actually messing with them really hard.
So now, Indonesia didn't really quite get too much kills from that previous fight itself. Doesn't seem like they managed to get any form of control within of the Zaman Force. In fact, Chell has mostly been trying to run away throughout the entire engagement. So Indonesia gotta have to find ways to really hold down the fort. I think that the main thing is that they used the Eternal God a little bit too early, and they wasn't able to stop literally anyone from walking out of the Zaman Fort, or perhaps even stopping Chell from dominating within of the Summon Force.
Yeah, it's just been very effective gameplay so far from the Philippines. Indonesia being forced into very defensive action right now, but they're gonna continue fighting.
And now the AOG from Vivero gets herself out of that rigid glacier. This is gonna be fine and dandy for now, but unfortunately Perez found herself taken down by a train wreck of an Indonesia. The bottom lane Lord unfortunately wasn't able to find any dividends, but the main thing is Philippines should be able to take this T1 no problem. As such, granting themselves entryways into the jungle is to be expected.
Kill onto Perez there is pretty nice for Indonesia. This is what we mentioned as well. Ixia is particularly vulnerable to Ling, but I don't think Philippines minds that too much. Al Puerta was pushing up top lane the entire time, already got a free tower off of it, and they still have a 4k gold lead at this stage. Indonesia need to buy more time for Shell and Vival to come online, otherwise Philippines are in full control of this.
Let's be honest here, when it comes down to that that Suyo is paying dividends. It's really strong in the early stages of the game, and right now we're just kind of looking to see just what else can he possibly do in the upcoming team fight. We know that Soul Sever can either give a lot of damage based on the lost HP, or just generally keep Diagon alive in the fight, especially since he's gonna be in the she's gonna be in the immortal form. That is double front lines from the Gatakacha plus the Suyo. At first, I kind of doubt the sustainability from the Suyo, but let's be honest here, the Brave Smite is actually working pretty well.
I mean, Suyo can be actually surprisingly bulky, but as a hero, that usually depends on whether he's actually ahead or not, right? Suyo is the type that really does well with an item advantage, but if he doesn't have that lead, he ends up being pretty squishy. So because Diagon is already 4-0 on this hero, it's actually quite difficult for Indonesia to deal with her. And even now, Chase, it's a 1v3.
Wow! Didn't even got brought down to half HP. Being in the immortal form plus the vengeance completely feels as though they mitigated a crazy amount of damage. Now couple that with a revitalize, I think Diagon might actually just be an unkillable beast in the eyes of Indonesia.
Honestly, watching this, I kind of want to play Suyo EXP lane now. Apologies to anyone who queues up with me in pubs later on, but this is surprisingly effective from the side of Philippines. We thought that Phobia should be able to win out that 1v1 somewhat, but good lane control and pressure from Diagon right at level 1 already put her very far behind. And then the kill after that was just the cherry on top. With no EXP lane priority to play around, Indonesia simply does not have enough early game burst and pressure, and that has allowed Philippines to continue extending their lead throughout the entire game.
So 7-4 and 14 minutes into the game, Indonesia. What kind of power spike can we be expecting from them, right? With a Harif as well as the Ling, we can definitely expect more firepower from them. Maybe about 16 minutes from now, since they are currently at 35,000 gold. We should want to see them at around 42,000 gold to really make solid statements over to the side of Perez, right? Because front lines, very tanky. Indonesia don't really have that kind of damage. Even for Chell, I think that she would find it a little bit difficult trying to bring down Diagon.
Yeah, Shell needs at least Holy Crystal, and I think Vival needs like her 3rd or 4th item. And Indonesia just has not reached that point in time yet. The Lord's just pushing in, and the inhibitors are falling one by one.
So how's this gonna look like? As now it is going to be a quick little jump in from the side of AOG. Vivian just opens things up, just run right into the face of Perez. But I don't think that Vivian is gonna do too much, because the amount of damage from the side of Perez is just whittling down Vivian just crazy. While the full barrage opens up the curtains just to ensure that Vivian would not be able to get away. The front 2 liners from the side of Philippines may have been taken down, but no one is gonna be stopping El Puerto as well as Perez from bringing down the middle lane and the bottom lane in the inhibitor turrets.
Yeah, the inhibitor towers are already all gone for Indonesia, and now the crystal is wide open. It is still a 3-for-3 matchup. I'm not sure the Philippines can just force this.
I don't think that Chell... Oh, never mind! Chell manages to run away. But with an incoming creep wave in the middle lane, Indonesia will close that out almost immediately. As now, Philippines, they're going back to the drawing board and waiting for the next opportune moment to take the Lord and eventually end the game.
This has been an unexpected situation. This Suyo, despite it not being kept as a secret for too long in the draft, seems to be something that Indonesia wasn't particularly prepared for. I guess they would be under the impression that it wouldn't be the most effective overall, considering it's not a hero you'd ever see in that lane picked up. But so far, Philippines are using it to its fullest extent. It is creating so much space alongside Vivero to set up for Al Puerto on this Hayabusa. Indonesia, they just need more time, but with no structures left on their side of the map, it's gonna be very, very dangerous for them to push out at all.
Oh, Vivian actually just running right into the face of Mortis as well as Vivero, but doesn't seem like Vivian is going to go down anytime soon just yet. But Vivero doesn't have a lot of HP to be working with just yet. The quick little purify from inside of Chell wants to get away, but it is the Ogi Shadow Kill that brought Chell as well as got the Cine down to a pretty low amount of HP, but at least the Winter Crown, they managed to make sure that they are going to be staying alive. Throughout all of this engagement, the only person that went down is going to be Vival for the side of Diagon. She still wants to go on through, but wait, El Puerto went a little bit too deep, and City gets a kill down over to the members of Philippines.
Sydney definitely the MVP for Indonesia in this game. 6-0 on the Vexana, just staying alive and prolonging the fight, popping Terrify and burst damage over and over again. That's the only way Indonesia is able to stop Philippines from just steamrolling over them. In the previous fight, we actually saw it being fairly even, but Philippines just had so much survivability and damage from the backline that it seemed like Indonesia wouldn't be able to catch up anymore. So it shows that they do still have damage to play around with, so their opponents cannot disrespect them.
There is so much possible ways for Philippines and Indonesia themselves to run over to the back line. Whoever managed to do their job the best will always come up on top. And in this case, Indonesia, it is actually pretty nice for the fact that Chell got away from the Ogi Shadow Kill by transferring over to Cine, and then Cine popped off with the Winter Crown to ensure that she will be staying alive from all of that. As such, El Puerto went through all of that nonsense just to get 0 dividends.
But now they're gonna have to defend against all 3 waves at once. This is so many minions for the Philippines.
As now the full barrage is just going to be popped on the side of Perez, but unfortunately that's not going to be a long-lasting one. As now the rest of the members for Indonesia is just going to be jumping themselves around to Perez, brings her down almost immediately for Vivian as well as Fumi Echo. They want to prolong this fight as much as possible just to ensure that their backlines will be able to do a decent amount as Vival as well as Shell, the last 2 members remaining. Or never mind, we still have Cine, but the rest of the members from the side of Philippines are all just going to be absolutely fundamentally melted down by Chell, and she got away with all of that, with no problems whatsoever.
The minions are doing a lot of damage to the crystal, but with Cine and Shell alive, they're actually still able to hold. Indonesia have evened out the goal difference. Cine, the absolute goddess that she is on the Land of Dawn right now. The damage coming out from this Vexana needs to be respected. Shell being able to survive that as well means that they can go for more. They can push straight down mid.
What? That amount of damage is absolutely illegal, bundled with crazy mobility. This is why Harif is such a force to be reckoned with. This Indonesia, they have a barren wasteland at home. They went for a phenomenal defense, and now they're looking to go for a comeback. I'm not too sure whether they can or not, but they absolutely need to go for a 5-man wipeout and end the game straight from the middle lane.
Yeah, Philippines cannot afford to wait for this too much longer themselves, right? If Indonesia are given more time to scale up, we already see how much of a problem this is actually becoming for them. That base defense is deceptively effective from ID. Philippines, they still have control. They still have a lot of leeway to work with since they've only lost 1 tower the entire game. But death timers at this stage are going to be so long that if you end up losing crucial members at the wrong times, the game is just over.
So, with the Lord currently available for both of the teams to take, It is all about the engagement and, of course, all about who's going to be the one that pulls the trigger first. Now, Vivero hides within of the pixel brush, looks to go for a coordinated attack together between Vivero and Amores, but wasn't quite caught up by Vivian. Very vigilant to ensure that she gets away from that attack.
The Philippines are able to see that Cine is stuck in base, having to deal with all the pushing minion waves. No inhibitors means that if you're gonna have someone back in base at all times to make sure that there isn't a backdoor happening. And we can see Diagon just consistently pushing down bot lane to make sure that she stays there as well. The moment Philippines finds the opportunity, they are going to start really melting down this Lord, because it is going to be free as long as Indonesia can be kept in their base.
As now, the Lord down to 18,000 HP. Indonesia holds onto the Lord for a little bit. Does seem like they want to reset this by a tad little bit. Yes, they are going to go for the reset, as I believe that they still don't have the Vexana with them in the battles. And Indonesia themselves knows exactly how important having the Vexana is in the upcoming teamfights because of the previous engagement.
Yeah, but Cine just cannot be unlocked from the base at all. In fact, I'm kind of surprised the Philippines aren't trying to force something a little bit more, knowing that Indonesia is going to be at a numbers advantage. This is actually a very tense Lord dance. We are 22 minutes into the game. Net worth differences really don't matter anything at this point. It is all about execution. Philippines, they still have some space to make mistakes because, yes, they still have towers. Indonesia, though, have to be incredibly cautious.
Oh, this is tough, right? Actually throwing Cine, the mage, to clear the waves in the base. This is actually a little bit tough for us, for us to follow, because even after clearing all these waves, you gotta have to walk slowly back over to the team fight. And all Philippines need to do is just disengage from the Lord, and then wait for the lanes at the bottom lane to eventually push out again, and bing bada boom, you can go back for the Lord again.
It's a slow one here, Abstract. There's a reason it's called a Lord dance, and this one is a particularly slow dance between these two very, very well-matched teams. There's a lot of experience here facing off against one another as well, and understanding of each other's habits. Lord dropping the half HP. Is this finally gonna be it?
Oh no, Vival, she's not around as such. She's stunned by she's stunned by Diagon, but it's okay. It's still okay. Vival goes to the back. Actually found El Puerto. Not quite enough to bring her down though.
Everyone knows their lives need so much right now, but Shell is engaging!
Oh, Paris! Taken down by the hands of Shell! And now Indonesia, they're just running it down over to Vivero. Didn't quite get enough to bring Vivero down and even pop the immortality just yet, but a solid push.
A really good initiative from Shell there. She was definitely the one who made the call, saw Perez out of position, and instantly went for the punish. This is because the rest of Indonesia had been able to chase away more key members like El Puerto as well, so Shell felt like there was no danger to her life, and that's gonna be pretty good. But Perez is only down for another 30 seconds, and it's still difficult for Indonesia to try and steal the Lord within that timing.
So, 5 members from the side of Indonesia ready to go for the push. They need to get this locked down ASAP, as the bottom lane is already slowly pushing in. There's still a wave of creeps now, so they should be technically fine for now. But they are really afraid of the initiation coming in from both Vivero as well as Amores. They can't get hit by both of these abilities at the same time. The moment that they do, the front line will be melted down, and unfortunately Vivian is in no condition to continue the fight. Not a lot of HP to work with, not a lot of mana to work with too.
Diagon is also being very annoying, just consistently making sure that Cine can never leave the base by pushing both mid and bottom at the same time. Minions are so difficult to clear at this point, but Indonesia cannot risk leaving Shell or Vival in the base to clear them up, because these are your only main sources of DPS now that we have gotten into the 25-minute mark.
Oh boy, a long game for the very first game of the Grand Finals match. What a way to start. The Lord's Dance is starting to really hold on for a long time. The Lord's HP has been extended to 67,000 HP. At this point in time, there is absolutely no way that you can blitz this down anymore, and it's still slowly, steadily increasing to 72,000 HP.
Al Puerto and Diagon tried to gank Vival in the bot lane as well, but she's already been able to maneuver away from them, so there's no way of getting a jungle advantage yet either. I think they can only just keep going with this push and pull in terms of the minion waves, hoping that there will be a mistake made and an opportunity created. Otherwise, who knows how long this is gonna be stalemated.
Oh man. Oh man, how long would this be? Would there ever be a point in time where the game drags on for so long, it becomes completely impossible with a certain lineup to bring down the Lord?
I think it's a little bit tricky to say, all things considered, right? Like even though Philippines still have way more towers than Indonesia at this point, the game can actually go either way, right? It's just a little bit easier if the Philippines want to like set up for a backdoor attempt or something, right? But if you're going for straight up team fight, whoever is able to get the like big wipeout first, just straight up wins the game. Doesn't matter which side you're on.
Honestly, I'm just kind of baffled from the side of Philippines that they're not making full use of the fact that Vexana was sent to base to kind of wave clear, right? Because you already have information that Vexana is all the way at the base. The moment that you take a fight and you time yourself, okay, we've got 4 seconds to make this work. We just need to jump onto Chell or we need to jump on the B-Vault. We find that, we get out. That way, they will be able to get themselves a nice, sizable numbers advantage in order to eventually take the Lord down. But so far, they haven't really quite acted on the movements of Vexana just yet.
The issue is that the Philippines are actually still a little bit wary. At this stage in time, it's still kind of difficult to break through the front line of Vivian and Fumi Echo when they start a fight. And if it takes too long, then Cine is going to be able to make it from the base regardless, not to mention the amount of resources they would have to spend while also having to be careful of Shell. Philippines does have good damage, yes, but a lot of their lineup is front to back.
Oh, Diagon actually finding herself actually sandwiched between Cine as well as Shell. That is two of the main damage dealers from the side of Indonesia that has been pulled away. But Philippines might actually find an opportunity here. A quick little freeze over to the side of Viv. They have eyes on the Fumi Echo, but really nowhere else the rest of the damage dealers are just yet.
Yeah, and despite all of that, Diagon's still gonna be playing around the bot lane, looking for that split push instead. This is officially a stalemate, ladies and gentlemen, and this is only game 1 of the grand finals. Neither side willing to take a risk when this is the perfect time in the series to try and make something happen.
This is probably the biggest stalemate I have ever casted on so far. Like, it hasn't been a long time, I gotta be honest. Like, yes, we have games that lasted this long, but not exactly a point in time where both teams are just hovering in their jungles, waiting for the opponents to make the move on the Lord. This is probably the first time.
I mean, we talked about how important stamina is going to be in a best of 7, and right now they're already testing it when the series has just begun. I have no idea how long this game 1 is going to last, Abstract, and I'm a little bit afraid.
Yep, girls, do something. Wait, they're doing something now! Indonesia, Fumi Echo with a pursuit down onto Morris, and now they are backing off now. Oh.
Got a bit too excited too quickly there, sir.
Yeah, I was actually
it's a little bit
manifesting.
sad.
Yeah, a little bit of a manifestation.
You know what? I
Hoping
understand.
that if I go loud, they will go all in too.
The issue is that Philippines actually don't have that much damage overall, since like some of their heroes are gonna start falling off at this point in the game.
At this point in time, I'll just take any form of glorious pathway as just kind of like a psych. I'm not gonna engage. I'll wait for you to come in kind of situation, right? And okay, City has got a lot of damage. That's not even the ultimate. The Wishing Lantern is actually doing quite a lot of true damage over the side of Vivero, and they should really look out for the mages, let's be honest.
Yeah, they're definitely looking out. In fact, both teams are looking out so much that they're just not willing to do anything, right? Indonesia actually kind of has the advantage just in terms of team fighting because now that they've scaled up, Harif and Ling both hit incredibly hard alongside the Vexana. Whereas Philippines only really have Perez to play around in this late game stage. That's why even when Cine is stuck in base dealing with wave clear the entire time, they're not willing to take the 5v4 because they know that if Perez goes down, they cannot actually prolong the engagement against Indonesia anymore. That's why it was so important for the Philippines to end the game when they had the opportunity. But Indonesia was able to hold, and because of that, they are back in this. We have no idea how this is going to go. There hasn't been a kill for the last 10 minutes.
Exactly, and I believe that this might be a lead up soon. As now Perez, and there we go, Vivero! Running right into the face. On to Fumi Echo. Then with the crowd just gonna be popped, and in the meantime, he was hoping they will be able to go away from all of that crowd control, but that's not gonna be the case because the Frigid Glacier caught on the Fumi Echo with a 70 seconds death timer, and now this is where the domino effect goes down. The moment that you have managed to rumble onto a breaking point, this is where a team starts to shake. And Indonesia lost the phobias. Philippines now have got the numbers advantage, and they resetted the Lord.
I don't know what Philippines is doing actually. They should totally be blitzing this down right now, especially after that one. Okay, now it's go time.
Now we're talking. You got two members down on the opposite side. Indonesia, they are running for the hills. And now you have a big, beefy Lord that will be marching in from the middle lane. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to say anything about jinxing, but let's be honest here. Philippines took a long time to take that Lord down. A very long time. So, Indonesia will have a longer time to bring that Lord down as well. So I'm pretty sure that this game is over by then, but we're just going to be taking a look all the way to the final moments as Indonesia just going to be going for a counter attack. We've got Vivian all the way to the back lines, surviving with that a little bit with the Ring of Punishment. Not going to do too much. Cine still going to be A-okay as she flickers backwards. She's going to be fine for now, but both teams went all the way in. No one has died yet. Okay, no one has died. While Indonesia, Fumi Echo almost running away. The AOG is going to be landing, but the winner crown just going to be popped from the side of Chell, losing the immortality and immediately buying the Rose Gold Meteor, but that's not quite enough because survivability is not what they want. They want to bring the Lord down.